Badge, I feel like we've been waiting forever for a half-decent Battlestar Galactica game, something to do justice to what I would argue is one of the best sci-fi universes of all time, not to mention my favourite TV series. There have been a few attempts here and there, but Diaspora Shattered Armistice is a community-built mod made by BSG fans. And it's one of the first Battlestar games I've come across that's felt truly fracking authentic. And best of all, it's free.
Yeah, sometimes it takes fans to get it right, doesn't it? The game uses the Free Space source code project engine, and it's basically a space fighter set in the Battlestar Galactica universe. You play a trainee or nugget assigned to the Battlestar Theseus. It's your job to road test the command navigation program, which is new fancy software designed to take the colonial fleet into the future of military defense and flight navigation.
Targeting trials have been completed. Stand by for combat trials.
Words cannot describe my excitement here, Barjo. Starbuck, best Viper pilot in the sky, is a personal hero of mine. She's strong, cocky, and pulls off the kind of ballsy maneuvers that could only be attempted by one that's looked a fracking toaster in the eye, laughed in the face of death, and then blown them into oblivion. Behold, her dog tags. And now I had the chance to fly in the wake of her awesomeness. Unfortunately, all the fandom in the world couldn't help me be the best Viper pilot in the sky, because when it comes to flight sims, I am still pretty rubbish.
Looks like the CAG was wrong to put you up for this test, pilot. How the hell did you manage to get yourself killed by drones?
A valiant effort nonetheless, Hex, and in fairness, this game takes quite a while to master. The game throws a whole host of fiddly controls at you right from the get-go. When it came down to the real action, I just stuck to using a few very basic maneuvers because I'd forgotten the rest. There is a lot of keyboard juggling, but it's worth pushing through that to get to the action.
Yeah, and they've really captured the essence of this universe so wonderfully too, haven't they? Everything from the soundtrack, which is entirely original but perfectly inspired by the series, to those beautiful vistas and space flares. It really creates that feeling of being inside the BSG universe. And the first time you see one of those terrifying Cylon base ships jump into your field of view, it's just thrilling.
Yeah, and the way those battles play out just take you back to some of the greatest battle moments from the show, don't they? Missiles, space explosions, chaos.
Stand by for combat landing procedures.
Your ship takes damage quite quickly though, and often I'd be focusing on my mission objective only to have one of those toasters sneak up on me and blow me to smithereens. You really need to be constantly cycling through your targets to make sure none of those stealthy raiders are in close proximity.
And it can be quite hard to gauge how fast you're going in relation to everything else, because there isn't much in space, so it's not until you get right up close to something and then you quite often overshoot it.
Trying to pull off crafty maneuvers will take a bit of practice because of that button layout. It's not something that feels super intuitive.
We have neutralized the Cylon.
That said, it definitely feels authentic, because flying a Viper would be no easy task, so there would be lots of controls to keep your eye on.
And while you do get that landing assist in that very first training mission, the Theseus has yet to be upgraded with the new CMP software.
Which fans of Battlestar Galactica will recognise as a blessing in disguise because Cylons can hack the network, obviously. It's why the Battlestar Galactica's retro design made it one of the only ships capable of taking on the Cylon fleet.
Yeah, so you'll be hands-on with every landing from then on.
Pilots, you're authorized for combat landing.
In the middle of a fight, you generally have about 60 seconds to get back to the Battlestar and execute a safe landing. Barjo, all my landings were abysmal. That time limit is so stressful, and I always overdo it on the thrusters, and I can never slow down in time. But, you know, a crash landing is better than no landing.
Engine's failing. I'm venting fuel all over the fracking place.
Orbit, can you hold it together long enough to get back to the Theseus?
Swarm block secure.
Negative. Systems are down. Repeat. Systems are
Tell me about it. If you don't land in time, then the Battlestar just takes off without you, leaving you stranded.
The Theseus has jumped. We're on our own.
Which is code for restart the mission and do it all again.
You'll mostly be flying the Viper Mark 7, but there are some cool Raptor missions as well, allowing you to jump from point to point to do some recon and search for survivors.
Good thing you arrived.
And this will see you adding civilian ships to the fleet, just like the Galactica did in the series, which is really cool. There's also some not too terrible voice acting to guide you through, and this makes you feel like you're in constant contact with the military.
There's beautiful attention to detail with the crafting and design of each of the ships, and you can see the fan love that has gone into it. The interface reflects the aesthetics of the series too, although I found the options menu a bit confusing.
Yeah, and being a mod, you may need to fuss about with it as some of the graphics settings are a little bit unstable, so there's a bit of trial and error there. Also, the game has multiplayer, which would have been awesome, but we couldn't seem to get it running or find any available servers. So it looks like there's still some work to be done on it before it's all running smoothly.
Yes, but from a community of fans, this is a very well-made game, and I think for a BSG fan, it's a real treat.
Well, so say we all, Badge. And look, I may not be the best Viper pilot in the sky, but this game genuinely makes me feel like a nugget that's been thrown headfirst into a war. You know, I'm learning it as I go, and I definitely want to go back and try again until I'm worthy of these dog tags and I can hear nothing but the rain. So, pending multiplayer, I'm giving it 8.
I'm giving it 7 out of 10.
You know, you may remember these dog tags because I wore them the day that we met.
Yes, you were cosplaying a Starbuck.
I was cosplaying a Starbuck and I came and asked you for this dorky fan photo.
And I pulled a face, if I remember
You
correctly.
did pull a face. If I'd only known that you would be pulling faces like that every day for the rest of my life.